I'd like to welcome everybody to the Alumni Speaker Series. I'm Annie Puffett. I am the Director of Career Development here at Upper Iowa, located on the Fayette Campus, but we serve all of our alums and students in all of our locations. So I'd like to welcome Luke Wickham to our Alumni Speaker Series. He is a 2000 graduate from the Fayette Campus, and his major was communication. So Dr. Duffy, would you like to say a few words to kick things off tonight?
Well, first off, I'd like to also welcome Luke. And for our speaker series, what we try to do is we try to expose our students to people who are successful out in the field. And Luke's been very successful there in real estate and been in Orlando now, you said about 20 years, over 20 years, Luke. And
yes.
I really want to thank Luke for taking this time to meet with the students. These are the kinds of opportunities for students, for you all to ask questions about leadership, about organizational skills, about communication skills. Because in fact, Luke was a communications major. I'm not sure that, Luke, you were thinking at the time when you were here that you were going to be, I'm going to go down to Florida and I'm going to be a successful real estate person. So, but your skills that you acquired here, hopefully they helped you. And maybe you can give some tips to those, our students, and about your success and anything like that. And hopefully students ask questions, because this is a great opportunity. So Luke, I'll leave it to you. And then to Annie, you have anything else to add, Annie?
We're just going to go ahead and kick things right off.
Okay.
So Luke, I know there's several things that you want to talk about tonight, but can you first just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I've lived in Orlando, Florida for the last 20 years, but I was born and raised in Dubuque County, Iowa, in a small town called Epworth, Iowa, population 1,500, small farming community. Went to Western Dubuque High School, graduated in 1995, and then went to Fayette and Upper Iowa and played basketball and tennis there, and very grateful for Upper Iowa and the university for giving me a chance to play sports and to get a degree. I wasn't the greatest student, so Upper Iowa gave me a great opportunity and the degree, and so I'm really grateful for the university. But I've been as far as career, moved to Orlando about 20 years ago. Was teaching tennis and working kind of small jobs, any job I could go, like Applebee's and serving and dishwashering, doing a little bit of everything. And then I taught tennis and started getting into real estate, and then I got into commercial real estate, and then I've been fortunate to own quite a few apartment complexes now. So I'm kind of an investor / real estate broker doing a lot of commercial real estate. So that's the quick story, but not too far from Fayette, Dubuque County guy.
All right. I know the main topic that you wanted to embrace us with tonight is geared towards your keys of success. What have been some of the things from your time at Upper Iowa that you feel have helped make you successful today?
Yeah, so, Upper Iowa, I owe them a lot. And, I owe Fayette and the university a ton, because as I said, I wasn't an A student. I was a C student, and eventually became, a B to B- student. I struggled with a lot of learning disabilities and was kind of dyslexic. But I overcame a lot of that with hard work and perseverance and grit. And some of the things I learned at the university in Fayette was, I kind of had to become an adult. I remember my freshman year, I had, 8 a.m. biology class, and I had to get up, and it's probably the hardest class I took at that time, and had to study and try to make sure I could pass and get a degree so I could stay eligible to play basketball and tennis, which were some of my passions at the time. So I guess the university, the main thing is they made me an adult and kind of grow up, because I was kind of a young punk who wasn't the greatest student. And then I learned a lot through the coaches and a lot of the professors, just more accountability of going to class and going to practice and working hard. And, I learned a lot on the tennis and basketball court about life and just kind of hanging in there and staying positive. I was kind of a star athlete in high school. And then at Upper Iowa, I was kind of just a freshman trying to find some minutes on the basketball court. And so had to really learn about perseverance and kind of hanging in there. And so those are some of the things that I learned at the university. And we can go into more of them, but I owe the university a lot. I don't know without Upper Iowa if I would have graduated. I got a lot of breaks, and a lot of people were nice to me and gave me the benefit of the doubt. And I really appreciate that.
The next question I have wasn't one that was in kind of the stuff that we had gone over and kind of prepping for tonight, but I just wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about your internship experience. You had mentioned to me that you interned out in New York during one of your final semesters with us. Is that something that you can talk a little bit about?
Yeah, sure. So I was a communication major at Upper Iowa. So I took a lot of, writing and, kind of journalism type classes. At the time, my brother worked at KWWL as a reporter, and I thought I wanted to be a sportscaster. So I tried to get internships at, major studios. And so I ended up getting an internship at NBC Sports in New York City. And that was a great experience, unpaid, but I went there and I talked to my counselor, Doc McReynolds, who I think is still around at the university. And he really helped me. He was a great influence on me and said, hey, this is a great experience, but it's going to be tough living in New York City and getting a lot of your classes work and some of this online learning at the time. It's pretty tough. So he talked to some of the administrators and made it work. And I went up to New York City for a year and worked at NBC Sports. And that was a ton of fun. I covered Notre Dame football, the World Series, NBA finals, a lot of great sports events and had a great experience. But that was kind of where my communications major. Obviously, then I turned and went into real estate, but that gives you a little bit of background about my internship at NBC Sports, and very grateful for the administrator at that time, who I can't remember his name. I think he was not the president, but he was like second in charge. And him and Doc McReynolds had a meeting and really helped me get some school credits for that internship.
That's awesome. Wonderful that you were able to make that experience work and then still continue to finish your degree here. Kind of along the lines of your communications major, I know that that's what you did while you were here, but what drew you to go into real estate, and how has your communication experience helped you be successful in that industry?
Yeah, so like a lot of young people, when I was, 21, years old, I wanted to be two things. I wanted to be famous and rich. And so I was like, how can I do that? So then I thought, well, maybe I can get on TV and that'll help me become famous and make money too. And I moved to Florida. I followed a girl who grew up in Dyersville, Iowa, in Dubuque County also. And she had moved to Florida. And I was living in DC, Washington, DC at the time. And I was also commuting back to New York City because I was doing some work for NBC Sports more as a consultant at that time, or kind of a paid guy part-time. And so she moved to Orlando. I ended up marrying her, one of the best decisions I ever made, but that's another topic. So I was teaching tennis out of my backseat of my car. I was working at Applebee's and other fast food jobs just to try to make a buck and, kind of pay the rent and make, do a little bit of living, save a little bit of money. But I wanted to get rich. That was a real goal. I wanted to be rich and famous, but I settled to try to just be rich. And so I just started going to Barnes and Nobles and reading books about the stock market and real estate. And I realized that real estate, you could use debt and leverage, and you didn't need to have as much money, where the stock market, you needed money to make money. But I figured I could leverage up and use mortgages and buy properties and have the renter's income cover the mortgage. And then I could make a little bit on top over hustle by running them a little better and you know, painting them myself and renting them myself and managing myself. And essentially that's what I did. And I haven't stopped buying properties for the last 20 years in Florida. So I've been buying a lot of apartment complexes, and I started with small duplexes and 4 units and then 8-unit apartment complexes. And, you know, now we're buying much bigger apartment complexes. So.
Been very, very beneficial going to Barnes and Nobles for you, for sure.
Yeah.
What are 2 to 3 leadership qualities that you look for in people that are going into your field? And what are some ways that students can develop those leadership skills while they're at Upper Iowa?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is work ethic. So you got to be able to work hard, and you got to be able to put the work in. Success is a daily event. It's not something that you can just wake up and you're successful. You got to have a lot of perseverance, and you got to be able to do whatever it takes. And if that's from, you know, sweeping the floors at the company to, you know, becoming the CEO, I mean, you got to be able to work your way from the bottom. So what I look at for people when we're hiring people are is how much grit do they have, and how bad do they want it. And I think that's the main thing. Everything else you can really teach somebody, but if you have the right mindset and have a positive attitude, you know, sky's the limit. I mean, so that's the main thing. You got to be able to work hard.
Absolutely. I know that career readiness is a hot topic in career services, but then higher education and employers in general as well. We've talked a little bit about the NACE core competencies. What competencies do you feel are most important in helping excel one's career goals, and why?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to my degree, which you wouldn't think it's pretty broad, but like communication, you have to now in today's working world, especially with a lot of people working remote, you got to be able to write a lot of emails. So you got to have strong written communication, and then you got to be able to do strong verbal communication, like what we're doing right now, Zoom call. In most sales jobs, you got to be able to call people, and you got to be able to communicate. And if you can't, you don't have excels, you know, you don't have skills. You got to have, you got to learn a skill. Now, almost everyone's getting a college degree. So you got to be able to separate yourself. I'm a little older, not as many people were getting, you know, going to college, but now everyone goes to college. So you got to be able to separate your skills. So if you're going to go into commercial real estate like I am, or even any financial job, I would take as many Excel classes as you can. I'd become a wizard at Excel. I would try to be the king of Excel at Upper Iowa, be able to do any spreadsheet and be able to whip it together. And then I'd also learn about, you know, typing emails and be able to write, because if you can write well, you don't even need to talk, because but if you have both, it really helps. So strong, get a skill, and if you're a chemist or an engineer, you have to be very good at numbers and math, but you need to have a skill, because everybody, when you get out of the, you know, into the real world, you're going to be competing, and it's very competitive out there. And just having a college degree isn't as special as it was 40 or 50 years ago.
Absolutely. I know you've talked a little bit about this in kind of your response just now, but what are some ways that you would encourage students and alums as well to improve those skills in order to be confident and fluent in them when they graduate?
Yeah, so I mean, I would start writing letters. So whatever you want to be, if you want to be an accountant or if you want to be a business owner, or if you want to be a stockbroker, start reaching out to people and networking that way, writing letters. Every successful person needs to be somewhat good at sales, and you have to get out of your comfort zone. No one likes cold calling people and reaching out to people you don't know. But to be really successful, unless you get extremely lucky, you have to learn sales skills and be able to reach out. So some of the stuff you can do, I mean, learning Excel classes, you can learn those on YouTube. And then I'm sure there's tons of classes on the university that you can do. Lean onto the professors. Whatever you want to be, lean onto it and work as hard as you can. That's, I don't know if I answered it, but that's kind of what
that's fine. That's great. One of the things that we try to kind of stress within our office is the importance of networking and mentoring. Was there, I know you've mentioned Doc McReynolds a couple of times, but was there anybody else at Upper Iowa that you would kind of consider one of your mentors or somebody that kind of helped push you a little bit further while you were at Upper Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many great people at Upper Iowa. Like I said, I was a C student, and I actually wasn't really that great of a student. I suffered from a lot of learning disabilities. I was a good athlete. I worked hard and I tried, but school wasn't easy for me. And so there was a lot of professors that helped me and encouraged me to stay positive and kind of, grind to get that degree, because they knew how important it was. And I don't think I would have gotten some of my corporate jobs without that degree, and without their encouragement. Dr. Reynolds, he was my advisor or counselor. He helped me a lot. The basketball coach, Stu Ingen, was a phenomenal coach and a great guy. My freshman year, I was a star of the high school team, leading scorer in the conference. But at Upper Iowa, when I got there, I was probably the 8th or 9th best, maybe the 10th best player on the team. So that was pretty humbling, and I thought I was going to be the star on day one. I thought about quitting, like the first couple weeks into practice. He's like, "You're not quitting." And that year, we ended up going to the NCAA tournament. Probably had one of the best teams in the history of the university. Led the nation in defense, won 21 games. We won the conference. And then Coach Wilson, who was the tennis coach and also the defensive backs coach in the football team. I didn't play football, but I played tennis. He was a great guy and pushed me and helped me. And, it's hard as a freshman when you're 18, you leaving your mom and dad, kind of a cushy life, where you're, eating their Domino's pizzas and drinking their free Pepsis and Cokes. And then you go to Upper Iowa and Fayette and you're by yourself. You don't really have any money. You're practicing a lot. You're studying. You're kind of lonely. It's tough out there. And you're just trying to become an adult. So, a lot of the professors and coaches gave me encouragement and told me to hang in there. I could have easily not graduated from college and frankly, high school. I was a poor student, but I had a lot of tenacity and I worked really hard. I always went to class. Even sometimes I didn't get it, but I always went to class.
Our faculty and staff still have that same mindset today, that they are behind our students and want them to succeed as well. Mentoring is key. So I'm glad that you had that at Upper Iowa as well.
Let me also add, Dr. McReynolds, he just retired. He's retired here just recently and had that same impact. You hear about his name all the time, Luke. And I'd like to throw in one question if I could, Annie. I'm going to ask Luke this. I'm always interested, from my background, I always talk about leadership. And what's one of the biggest leadership challenges you faced in your career? And the challenge that you faced and how you overcame it?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as leadership, you got to have people follow you and you got to step up and be a leader. But I think leadership is leading by example. My father wasn't a huge, as far as talker or anything like that. He led by example, and he was extremely hard worker. His father died when he was 6 years old. His mother was put in a mental institution when he was 7. So he was raised by his sister, and he led by example. Him and my mom, they didn't really talk too much about being leaders. They just did it. The main thing about being a leader is taking massive action. So as far as leadership, you have to set goals and find out each person who's working with you or working for you, what their individual goal is and what they want to do and what they want to accomplish with their life. As soon as you find that, then you take massive action to help them succeed and then help yourself succeed. And if the team is running really well, everyone's going to have a lot of success and in my business make more money, which is what you want to do. And if you have a cancer on the team, it really kills you. And the leaders got to kind of keep that. And you probably see that on the sports fields at Upper Iowa. You guys always had great coaches.
Go ahead, Annie. Sorry to step in.
No, you're fine. That's wonderful. We did have a couple comments that came in from the Facebook Live. So one of them is just quoting you, Luke, saying that success is a daily event and that they really love that nugget, and to really be able to get up and be ready to do what you need to do to be successful. So I think that is a very good point that we can all follow. And then another one is from a recent alum that just graduated. She received her bachelor's degree in communication studies and mass media, and she is currently looking for jobs within mass media, but is also obtaining her master's degree down in Des Moines at Drake University in brand communication. She is wondering what is the best way to try and reach out to you, to network with you, to try and be able to find positions and jobs within mass media and communication. Is networking with our students and alums something that you are able to help us out with?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to help. I mean, there's a lot of people that have helped me throughout the years. I'm very grateful for all the help and luck I've had. I'm happy to help anyone I can. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram. If you Google me, I have my own website, and then I have my business website. You can search my email. My email is luke.wickham@ipausa.com. And I'm sure you can find me on Google, but reach out. I'm happy to help you. I think in mass communications, the newspapers are dying. I still listen, still get the Orlando Sentinel every day. And I get my hometown newspaper, Dubuque Telegraph Herald. But the newspapers are dying. Mm-hmm. So everything now is on social media, Twitter. So you really got to dial in to that. So it's a different type of, communications is kind of different. So, like I know we're on Facebook Live now, so you really got to dig into that. But yeah, I'm happy to network and try to point you in the right direction.
After the call is done, I will put your email address in the comments of Facebook Live. That way, if anyone does want to connect, and then I will reach out to this alum and provide them with that information for her as well. So thank you for that. The last question that I have is just, are there any final pieces of advice that you would want to give to our students, alums, and the university community that are joining us, or even that will be watching this recorded session that we'll post online later?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the key principles that I try to live by are, and what I've tried to, accomplish since I've become an adult and try to be out in the working world is I've always dreamed big. I told you I want to be rich and famous. I'm not famous, but I'm pretty wealthy. So, I mean, pretty comfortable right now through hard work. But I think the main thing is you want to dream big. You want to set goals. You need to set goals. I've been a big opponent of setting goals for the last 20 years. I have all the goals I've set, and I'm continuing to set goals because you got to be able to motivate yourself and keep growing as a person, trying to grow every day, become better and better. And so, and the main thing too is dream big, set goals, work really hard, and you got to have tenacity in going after your goals. I kind of talked about massive action and taking a step towards that goal. And the main thing, the main thing to stay the course, have grit and persistence. Everyone could go to a Tony Robbins convention for a weekend and stay focused and have some drive for a weekend. But to be successful, you have to really grind for 7, 8, 10, 15 years, sometimes 20 years. And you can never give up. You just have to stay the course and believe in your dreams. And anything in the United States is possible. I'm the youngest of 8 children. My father never made over $55,000 a year. I've been fortunate to make millions of dollars. We grew up very humble. I used to share a Pepsi bottle with 4 other brothers. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm the youngest of 8 children. We didn't have a lot of money. And so anything's possible. If you put your mind to it and you're willing to work hard and set goals, in the United States, anything is very possible, and everyone should be grateful that they were born in the United States and are going to school in the United States, because anything's possible.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Luke. I think that is a wonderful place to end the speaker series on, with those nice remarks. I would like to thank you again for joining us this evening as we kick off our fall semester. And I would encourage all of you to reach out to Luke if you are interested in mentoring, networking with him, and having him assist you in your job search or internship needs. I would encourage you all to join us next month when we continue your speaker series. Actually, I think we just had a question come through that I'm going to throw your way.
And I got a question for Luke, but it'll be after the session. So yeah, go ahead.
The question that we have here, you talked about your struggles as a student and you were able to push through and earn your degree at Upper Iowa. What advice would you give college students to encourage them to keep moving forward with earning their degree, especially when times seem to be getting tough?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it opens a lot of doors. So 15 years ago, my first corporate job was with CBRE, which is a publicly traded company. It's the largest commercial real estate firm in the world. They have offices in Hong Kong, New York City. They're the Goldman Sachs of commercial real estate. And I would not have gotten that job or even gotten an interview if I did not have a 4-year degree. And the main thing is, people don't really care if you went to Harvard or Princeton or Upper Iowa University or any school. They want to know that you put the time in and had the dedication and the grit to finish 4 years of college and to get that piece of paper. So just hang in there. We know it's tough, it's hard, and it's easy to quit. But if you can hang in there, get that 4-year degree, then anything's possible. When I was at Upper Iowa and Fayette, I didn't know I was going to be selling apartment complexes. This year to date, we've sold 1.8 billion worth of apartment complexes. When I was in Fayette, I didn't even know anything about real estate. You know, I was just trying to, get a B in a class to try to get that piece of paper. And my mom and dad just said, get the degree, Luke, you'll be successful. Get the degree, hang in there. There's a lot of times I wanted to quit. First couple of weeks of school, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit the basketball team and quit college. So hang in there, stay positive.
Absolutely. I always, our parents do know what they're talking about when they tell us to hang in there and keep pushing through. It will pay off in the end. Thank you again, Luke, very much for joining us this evening. And I encourage you all to tune in next month when we continue our speaker series again to keep going through with the fall. So thank you again and have a wonderful evening.